Okay, so today we're going to be doing class 5 fillings or buccal fillings on our awesome patient here. This is a super common procedure, okay, and I like to be super consistent on the materials that I use, which is going to be resin modified glass ionomer. In this case, we're going to be using Fuji 2 LC, okay? So we'll go through the procedure. If the assistants are watching this, you need to be very in tune to the handoffs that me and my assistant will do, okay? And for doctors, this is also important to understand how the four-handed dentistry works. All of these steps are delineated in both the doctor's manual and in the assistant manual. And so I'll try to walk through each one of those little steps on what we're doing so that you can follow along on the step-by-step. And then you can click pause. Okay, so you can see here that this, we have an abfraction lesion on number 11, okay? And we have a deep abfraction lesion on number 12, okay? Very common that you're gonna see things like this, okay? The hallmark of absolutely needing to get it done is that little click right there, okay? And that click right there. These are, 1 out of 5. These are maybe a 4. I've seen some that are a little bit deeper. But really what we're looking for is either stain inside of this area or that little click. To me, that justifies that we need to get these done, okay? So a lot of times I'm not going to use anesthetic. Why? Because as I tell the patient, so we're just gonna be roughening up the surface and so that our glue sticks, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put on our Fuji 2 LC. So that's kind of the condition of those, okay? So first portion of this procedure is, like I said, we're going to roughen up the surface, okay? So I will have my water on. And then with my, if you see here, this is my egg-shaped red stripe diamond. I am simply going to take it and take it around the area and roughen up the surface just slightly, okay? Okay. All right. Now, always on the first step from the assistant is she's going to hand me the Explorer, okay? Now, Allison, let's go ahead and have you hold that Explorer, okay? Now, look at the position, okay? This right here is the handoff area, okay? One thing, obviously, for new assistants, you got to realize this bib has 2 sides. It has a plastic side and a paper side, and you want to put the paper side up. Why? Because a lot of times the doctor is going to use this to clean, okay? And then if there's any drip from the patient, it can soak it up on the patient side, okay? Again, this is also our handoff area, okay? A lot of times I'm seeing assistants, they want to hand it off here or over here, over here. No. The other thing that you're going to notice is Allison is holding this instrument at the very end so that the doctor can come in and grab it here, okay? A lot of times I'm seeing assistants hold it here. That's wrong because there's no way for the doctor to grab it from there. The other thing that you need to know is that the assistant is always delivering the instrument in the way that it's going to go into the mouth, okay? So you've got to be super consistent on that, okay? There's a couple of little things that I'll explain now. So when I'm cleaning this, okay, if I come here, that means that it's for the assistant to clean off, okay? When the doctor does this, that is the indication for the assistant to grab the instrument. Now you see that she's going to only grab things with her pinky. So need to be super religious about the doctors making sure that you do all of this consistently so that you can do this whole entire procedure without really talking to the assistant. She knows by all of these little signals on what to do, okay? So the first thing she's gonna do is she's gonna always give me the Explorer, because even though I know that there's no caries here, I'm gonna be super consistent with the assistant to say, yep, I'm gonna take that every single time and check for solid 2 structure. So what is she listening for? If she hears the little click, she already knows that this is solid 2 structure. So she knows that her next step is going to be the etch. So we know that we are on solid 2 structure. So there we go. There's my handoff, and there's my hand 2 for the etch, okay? one of the important things on this etch for assistance, before she hands this to me, we've had instances where this tip isn't on 100%, and so she's going to always tighten this before handing it to me. Why? Because we do not want this tip to come off and then we have all this etch around the patient, okay? Again, you can see that she handed it to me here at the end. I was able to pick up here and it was pointed in the right direction for me, okay? So now we're gonna go ahead and etch that area. Okay, the doctor is in charge of etching, okay? We were the ones who went through the general chemistry, through the organic chemistry, okay? So we know what's going on microscopically and on that, okay? And then we're gonna wait the 10 seconds, okay? And then we're ready to go. So Allison is going to come in and suction off the bolus of etch, okay? So do you see now, there's not that much that can go around the patient. Now the doctor is in charge of rinsing, okay, and desiccating. One of the big hallmarks of post-operative pain is if you're not rinsing thoroughly, okay? That's why the doctor is in charge of rinsing, okay? Now we're gonna do just cotton roll isolation, okay? On the maxilla, the source of saliva comes from the buccal or the cheek side of the tooth. On the mandible, it comes from the lingual side. So we're gonna always place the cotton roll on the cheek side and the maxilla, okay? And now Allison is ready to mix the Fuji 2LC. What is her silent indication that the doctor is ready to go? As long as it's not an anterior where we're trying to place clear matrix, she's simply waiting for the air. So when she hears the air, there we go, she knows that she's ready to mix, okay? So for the assistance, you'll need to practice loading the Fuji 2LC, okay? And then it's really important, we'll do a separate video on this, on how to load and unload the Fuji 2LC, but it should be really, really easy. Now, watch how she's doing this. She's doing 3 clicks and she's doing it into the palm of her hand. So any excess, either with Fuji Plus or Fuji 2LC, does not go on the floor. It potentially could go into the palm of her hand. And then the doctor's gonna usually use a fulcrum here and change it to the filter on their light. And then we're going to fill up the Fuji 2LC into the cavity there, okay? Now, the first instrument that we're going to get is the plastic instrument, or the flap, okay? And you can see, and let's come in here real close, you can see the motion that I'm doing here. And again, there's our clean, okay? So I'm essentially packing it or wiping it into the cavity filling, okay? And the same thing here. I'm just trying to make it a little bit of excess. If you do this exact motion, even if there's a little bit of a void, you're gonna be filling in that, that little bit of a void, okay? So when, make sure that you have the marginal, the margin's perfect there, okay? And then there's my motion, okay? And you're gonna see that this is her handoff with the light, okay? So assistants need to know whenever you're handing the light, unless you're doing a third cure on a composite, you always have something in your hand. So in this instance, she's handing me the cotton pliers in the exact position that I'm gonna need, and she's ready with the light, okay? So she's coming in with the light, okay? And she's gonna do the 10-second cure. So our light is set to 10 seconds for these. Now, because we're doing 2 teeth, she's gonna probably go over one and then go over the other to make sure that it's absolutely perfect, okay? Okay, so the doctor is then able to take out the cotton roll, and then the doctor will come in and change out to the flame-shaped yellow striped burr, okay? Now, this is a very important point in that we need to make sure that these gingival margins are perfect, okay? So I'm gonna come lightly here. and then the assistant will come in and hand me the Explorer. This is the same procedure for all fillings, okay? Now, I need to make sure, and this is very important for doctors, you need to go under the gingiva and then scrape up to make sure that there's no overhang, okay? Coming over here, no overhang, okay? So that looks really good. I'm gonna do my handoff to the assistant. Now, occasionally I'm gonna come in with my white striped, or my white stone or Arkansas stone, and I'll do my final polish. Just to make sure that that is as beautiful as possible, okay? So there's our final product. Let's go ahead and take a look at it one more time. Super smooth, you know, maybe a little bit of flash here on the gingiva, not a problem, okay? Same thing here, and then we're good, okay? So I'll leave a link in the description on a CE course that talks about using Fuji 2LC or resin modified glass ionomer for these, and it being the best material of choice over composite and over flowable. So that's it.